Stop trying to get to mount. Instead, get the top crucifix. Look, we all know that mount is a great position, myself included. However, I strongly believe that the top crucifix and crucifix as a whole is an extremely powerful and underutilized position. And by getting good at it, you'll be able to funnel your opponent into positions and dilemmas they're not used to dealing with. There are three primary methods of control with the top crucifix: top leg staple, bottom leg staple, or with his arms completely trapped between both my legs. It's easy to transition between these three positions, and each offer their own pros and cons. For the purpose today, however, I'll only be covering the top crucifix with the bottom leg staple. There are many ways to enter this position, both from south control as well as north-south. But one of my favorite ways is to enter this fairly suspicious looking north-south position, whereby I'm essentially prostrating over my opponent's body. This gives me good control of my opponent's hips and shoulders due to the tight wedges that I've created. Control this inside space and I flare out my opponent's elbow. I pin his arm to the ground. This will become his near side arm. If my opponent is being defensively responsible with his arms tucked in tight, that's okay. I'll shoot my hand into the crook of his elbow and use my chin to pry his elbow apart. I then pin his arm to the ground. I replace it with my leg and I keep my head low. This will prevent him turning into me. My next goal now is to get the far side underhook. I take this hand and I swim it underneath my body. Once I can feel his underhook on the other side, I dive my head to the other side, ending up into the position that I'm looking for. I then consolidate this position by resting my head on my hand to close off this loop, and then I sink my hips back to make this leg staple heavy. His arms are very well controlled now. I then begin my attacking sequence by going for a paper cutter choke with my free arm. If my opponent's having a bad day, they'll tap here. Quite often, however, they'll turn the head inwards, in which case I take the back of my hand towards his chin and I roll my wrist to bring his head back to the center. I then go for it again. My opponent may opt to do a big bridge. That's okay, I've got a strong leg post. He may also use his far side arm to defend. That's okay, I'm ready to catch it and switch to an Americana. Contrary to a traditional Americana, this is actually a very strong Americana due to his near side arm, his right arm in this case, is trapped. He can't use it to defend. If my opponent lifts his head up, that's okay, I'll push him back down. If he does a weak turn into me, I'll push him down as well. If he does a more aggressive turn, I pull the underhook tight, I push his head down, and I step over his body. I keep his arm glued tight towards my chest to prevent his arms from reconnecting, and I switch to Kimura grip. I'm now in a very strong finishing position. Follow for more unconventional jiu-jitsu tips.